Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to another podcast episode on Talk Architecture Podcast. We have here today a teaser, an interview with architect Aisyah Razin, who is an emerging Malaysian architect redefining leadership with clarity, conviction, and just the right amount of chaos. I love to read the Facebook posts and LinkedIn posts that architect Aisha would publish. I'm interested in what happens to her, how is she coping, what other things that she could talk about in the coming podcast, because I had the opportunity to be her tutor when she did her design thesis some time back. And now she's a technical director at TriArch Architects Sdn Bhd, formerly S&A Architects, which she works overseeing a range of architectural works with a recent focus on high-rise residential development, balancing design integrity with real-world complexity. And Aisha was a 2023 PAM 40 under 40 honoree, also a part-time tutor at a local university, a dedicated mentor to architects through her growing #Part 3 Playbook series, where she shares unfiltered lessons from site to studio. She does resin art, and she's a mother of twins, and believe that creativity and care are forms of architecture. And in this context of women architects in leadership roles, I was interested and I managed to interview Aisha, and that will be in part 1 and part 2 coming very soon. This teaser just, give me an opportunity to actually, give a snippet of what Aisha is about, where in the Part 3 Playbook post published on the 1st of July in Facebook, here she said that, quote, "is just a building," they said. But that's like saying a book is just ink on paper. Behind that every building was a mother who left her feverish twins just to make it to site inspection she couldn't postpone, a junior redrawing the same section for the 11th time because the brief changed again, a contract admin trying to stay neutral while everyone in the room expected them to take sides, a designer quietly fighting to save a community space that was 2 clicks away from being turned into a storeroom, a contractor who missed his kid's school concert and didn't even tell anyone. Reading the drawings, that's the easiest part. That's the easy part. Reading what's not on the drawings, that's where the real story is. Most people only see the facade. We know better. They don't see the emotional weight we carry from one submission to the next. The moral gray zones where doing what's right doesn't always match what's asked. The silent battles of quality versus cost, safety versus speed, the cultural and personal values poured into decisions that don't make it into any presentation board. Because what drives a project isn't just specs or specifications and timelines. It's people, it's pressure, it's principles. That's the real blueprint. It's the late night WhatsApp messages, the awkward silences in meetings that no one wants to say the obvious, the sketch scribbled on a parking ticket because the idea came in traffic, the doubts we bury while standing on site and wondering if we did enough. People see form, we remember what formed it. So the next time someone says, it's just a building, smile. They have no idea what's buried beneath the slab, because every building we complete quietly takes a piece of us with it. Okay, so at the end she says, behind every just a building is 1,000 silent decisions, emotions, and compromises. The real blueprint is human. So written between submissions and late coffee breaks is architect Aisyah Razin, TriArch Architects Sdn Bhd. Now this is just one example of, shall we say, that poet or that personality that tells stories. And it's gritty, it's realism. It's not, shall we say, painting a pretty picture. And the grittiness of being in the construction industry is what architect Aisyah Razin is about. She will discuss about the difficulties of trying to make it. And in between that work-life balance that she's trying to get sorted, she talks about how she loves architecture. And if you would follow her on her Facebook and LinkedIn, sometimes she would talk about details on site, even the drawings. And it's a really very thoughtful and very well done in a way that is very articulate. And you've got to follow her if you are a junior of hers trying to struggle in the industry. And that's one thing, the reason why I asked her to give a chat, give her ideas about what the architecture industry is about, and biasness and challenges that she faced as a female architect. And I was also attracted with her details because I really love contract implementation stage, and her being a technical director, she needs to sort that out at the very top of her architecture company. And it hasn't always been easy. She had a lot of challenges with trying to do her part 3 and also getting to be a mother and trying to juggle that motherhood and also working on her art. So there's a bit of creative expression that comes from her passion in doing art and design. And you would be interested in what she has to say in part 1 and part 2. The first part will be coming up soon, and the second part thereafter. So architect Aisyah Razin is also mentoring younger students or fresh graduates and students of architecture at the local university, giving her passion and her time and dedication. So let's listen to someone who's worked in the industry, in a bigger company, for example, that we have listened to and let's find out about what are the things that is necessary for a female architect to negotiate the architecture industry. And this is her story, but it could be your story that is reflected in that, and you could get some ideas from it. Thank you for listening to the teaser. Take care. Best wishes.